Hello everybody, Skyrim here, back again with another Diablo Immortal video. My. Round 2, round 3, I've lost track at this point. Continuing on, unfortunately, I have to say at this point, with the whole drama that still surrounds the market timer change in regards to, well, we finally got some wording out this time around. It's been a couple days, honestly. They were somewhat semi-radio silent the day before on this, and people were chomping at the bit, trying to figure out what was going on. Any headway made whatsoever with said investigation by the community manager on this issue as to why said market timer was implemented without their, knowledge or consent. I don't even know at this point, and they don't either, as far as we can tell, because lo and behold, here we go. Go Signals community manager wanted to put out a feedback thread because, you know, multiple statements have been made throughout the general Discord section over the course of the past couple of days, and they said it was just gonna be a little bit too much to keep track of. Well, unfortunately, that's a whole nother can of worms they decided to open up by putting it here, and yeah, there's a lot in here as well. I took the time to actually read through each and every single individual one on here. Now, unfortunately, you know, in a lot of aspects, this tends to get it poked the bear, and it got a lot of people upset and inadvertently, unfortunately, at each other in the process, as per usual, which happens when certain points of contention tend to go that way. And of course, like I said, the drama that is unfolded because of it all. I'm not going to, you know, go into too many particulars here. There were some very valid points made, kind of on multiple facets of this issue. However, the problem stems at the very outset of this market timer feedback, and how simplistic the post was made by the community manager here, putting together one thread to get feedback into one place. And there was no, you know, rules or regulations, points of stipulation on this one. And some people decided to go and play, you know, unofficial moderators, and then other ones that were moderators were pretty much, well, I hate to say it, but they're pretty childish. That's all I'm going to say on that one without going into any more details. They put some pinned comments that up in the top that were pretty terrible too. But anyway, this is a case, straight up, this is flat out just a case of the right hand doesn't know what the left hand is doing. Period. And what is that? Well, that would be Blizzard and NetEase. Plain and simple. This has always been the case for quite some time. This literally shines the most beacon of light onto the problem that has existed in the both sides not, you know, cooperating on this. And this is a business venture, and they got into this together as a business venture. The fact remains still that after 3.5 years plus, that they still don't have their shit together as far as a cohesive unit when it comes to working on the same supposed project. But as we have found out over the course of time with the game and so on and so forth, yeah, it's they have like two different versions of it. We have the Chinese servers version, of which is probably way far and above, which is why they get a lot more attention to it, and it is, I think, still thriving in their eyes. But then we have the global version of it, which is pretty much a hodgepodge mess, and then has Blizzard's handle of it to a degree as well. And this is what we have. And I would absolutely love to see the Chinese version. I know there have been people that have come and gone in multiple chats before and made this mention of it, and said, yeah, it's night and day, which I don't doubt at all. And a lot of us OGs from the very beginning of the game don't doubt that at all either. Again, like, I'd really love to obviously get my hands on the Chinese PC version, because I am sure that is much more polished than what Blizzard has presented to us in their last minute ditch effort. I'm sure when they first introduced the game, pushed it out there, fans were up in arms over the franchise and saying, hey, why is there no PC version? So they they put together something, and as we all know how rough that can be at times, but still nonetheless. But yeah, without getting any further detail on this is a whole slew of drama. I'm just gonna, like I said, I read through all of this, all right? I read through all of this myself personally before starting recording this. There is, a lot to take in here, a lot to read through, a lot, it goes on and on and on. We got some paragraphs, we got some literal chapters in here. So on and so forth on this. Again, there were some very valid points. Unfortunately, it goes back to the stem of this entire post at the very outset. It was left very open-ended. But then some say, oh no, try to stay on topic, everybody. And then it turned into, stabbing each other in the back on this thing back and forth, and it got into an utter mess. And the complete purpose of this was lost because, well, let's face it, there wasn't much of a purpose to this. It was too simplistic in the initial post for what you want X, Y, you needed to put bullet points. Put bullet points and be like, here's the template. Be at it. They've done this before and other things, especially when it comes to bug reports. They want you to have, like, all your model, what you're playing it on, the version of the game, so on and so forth, the server, that thing. They should have did the same thing here, bullet pointed it, and then posted it. But unfortunately, this was kind of rushed, and then, like I said, it was left too open-ended. And that's just, what can you expect? What can you expect? But here's the other thing to take away from this too. A very polarizing issue, apparently. I still can't get over how much of a polarizing issue this has become in very short span of time. Like, immediately as soon as the patch went live with this one change to the market, it pretty much opened up the floodgates that I haven't seen, like, at all. This kind of, like, rabble disgruntledness, like, immediately. So that is something to be said, and it speaks volumes in itself right there. Again, the timer, there's no distinct speculation on this, and here's the other issue. We have no distinct clarification. There is no clarification on the whole process as to why this was implemented. If they want to come out in so many words and say it, that would be much more appreciated across the board. So we at least know the why, the reason behind it. If it's to throw off, of course, the grinders, the free-to-play and low spenders and whatever else, and trying to, move platinum between their accounts, then come out and just flat out say it, right? Stop with the BS, and that's what I think that's the one side of the fence which the vast majority of the grinders out there are upset about this whole mess, and rightfully so. And like I said, bring it back around. We need the clarification as to why. Now, going back to the community manager the other day when this was first implemented, saying, oh, this was done without my knowledge of things and blah, blah, blah. Well, then why is that? Why was that a thing? Why is that a problem? Like I said at the outset of the video, the right hand doesn't know what the left hand is doing. Poor communication on all fronts. And it stems at the top between NetEase and Blizzard. That was something for them to hash out. They never have over the course of 3.5+ years of this, and that's obvious in the patch notes that we get every single time. Poorly translated, lack of information on both sides in certain facets. That's the crazy thing. Both sides are doing it to some varying degree. There's no same, and that's where everything breaks down, and it stems from the top. So, sorry to all of you that were, I guess, adversely affected by this market change. Again, as a free-to-play myself here, I've made some platinum, of course, and selling things throughout the course of playing the game. I've been smart as to just saving it. I don't have a savior pet still, and I'm still playing perfectly fine. Yes, it would be, more advantageous, but at the same time, like I've said too, that just seems like a crutch for bad gameplay, and so on and so forth. Yes, granted, it's implemented into the game. That's not the argument I'm trying to make here, but I'm just saying I still don't have a savior pet. I still do what I can do in there and make the most of it. Same with the Platinum. As far as the free-to-play goes, yeah, the market sucks. It's been in a bad state for a long time. This just, I don't know. This literally is just adding fuel to the fire unnecessarily. And again, at the end of the day, they just need to flat out come out and say why we did what we did. And that's on NetEase. That's on NetEase because they are the ones that had posted all this in their patch notes up front, but they didn't say the reasons why. They did not go into reasons why of the timer change on the market. They went into detail in a developer's note about why the upcoming change to breaking down all normal gems in the market from, rank 2 up to rank, and above, they are going to be broken down into all rank 1 gems to be sold. They explained that, but they did not go into any in-depth detail as to why they changed the timer on the market as far as posting sales. Now again, as far as sales in the market goes, so the vast majority of us still believe that that variable 30-minute timer that could go anywhere from a couple minutes to 30 minutes and then some all the way up to hour plus, that still remains as the point of contention, of course, because there is lack of clarification, but a lot of us are leaning towards, of course, being the variable for deterring the scripters and bot sellers and whatever else, because you have that variable timer. So many people are still on the outcry of saying, hey, let us at least know that it's definitive and so on and so. No, that defeats the purpose. That defeats the entire purpose. If that is the purpose, but we don't know, and that's the problem. And that's what, of course, this is why this is just going on and on and on as it has, and going around in circles for as long as it has. Now, I tried looking at NetEase, any information on their site as of late, and of course, all they have is this crossover they're doing with KFC. So, yeah, mum's the word as far as that goes with them. They honestly don't give a shit at this point. What's done is done. Their decision is pretty much final. Blizzard is an afterthought as far as having any reins of control over this, and honestly, we're seeing it more so than ever now with how there's this complete lack of transparency and communication that we always knew from the outset was missing from the outset of the game and their partnership. And again, it's on them. It's all on them at the top. It's their fault in every aspect of this, and it's unfortunate that there has been this debacle and whatever else going on with people that just want to play the game how they want to play it. So there is that. Anyway, again, let me know what you think in the comments down below about all things discussed here. I'm going to wrap things up here. I'm looking into Where Winds Meet, which, unfortunately is another NetEase game. Well, NetEase published game, that is. NetEase published game, of course, so they have their grips into that one as well. It's another free-to-play game. It's on PlayStation 5, Steam, and Epic Games. And I think it's on mobile too, of course. Of course it is. I'm going to check into that today if my PC can handle it, and maybe roll out some videos on that one as well. If there's any interest or any curiosity, I will do that just for the sake of. There are plenty of other ones out there, I'm sure, by now, but hey, I always like to put my free-to-play mindset and aspect into things, and of course, if my computer can handle said thing, I will definitely be able to I'll be more than willing to at least post a few videos on that anyway, just so that people are aware and curious about it. I'm curious just the same, like I said, and it goes live today in a couple hours from this recording, so I'm going to be on that soon. So anyway, oh boy, hang in there, everybody. Hang in there, everybody, throughout all of this. I was going to post some other videos too that I had already saved up, and I will roll those out as well. A little bit more lighthearted as far as this goes, but this is taking a life of its own in an unfortunate turn, more so, in the negative direction of things. And but here's the hope at the end of this, at all of this. I'm finally wrapping things up, mind you. At the end of this, the final hope, of course, is complete transparency and proper communication at the top with the companies. That's it. That's what should have happened by now anyway. It's unfortunate that it's gone on for so long, But anyway, until next time, everybody, stay safe out there in the real world on fire as always. Take care of yourselves as best you can, one day at a time. It's all we can do for sure, believe me. Until next time, see ya.